Let's jump into our next topic. We're going to the association because the Warriors have had two very impressive wins over the past few days, and last night was an interesting one. You know, they were down, I believe, 11 at half against the Clippers. It was a 19-point second quarter that they closed out on. But then in the second half, they absolutely exploded, especially on defense, forcing a lot of turnovers. And they were able to actually pull out the win last night against the Clippers, 115-91. Paul George did not shoot well. Russell Westbrook had a Russell Westbrookian type of a day. Kawhi Leonard shot 8 of 12. And the Warriors are looking really good right now. Plus, Steph's coming back on Sunday, reportedly, to play up against the Lakers as his first matchup since being out. So I'm going to ask you, do you think the Warriors could be a force to be reckoned with, ending the year, entering the playoffs?
Yes.
Ooh. Why do you think that?
Well, Steph Curry, right? I mean, he's coming back. He's a all-world player. And the rest of the cast there is playing much better. You have Wiggins and you have the other Splash brother.
Klay Thompson. You've got Jordan Poole. Looks like he's playing a little bit better. Draymond Green. Right? Those guys have won championships together. Just last year, by the way. So I don't think they can be counted out. What is their record right now? They are currently 33-30.
Yeah.
26-7 at home.
They haven't been playing well on the road all season.
Correct.
They need to fix that a little bit. I don't know what their schedule looks like the rest of the way, but yeah, they don't have a whole lot to worry about from the Lakers now. And the Clippers looks like they made a mistake by picking up Westbrook, right? They haven't won a game since they got him.
0-4. And since getting Westbrook, they've led the league in turnovers.
Yeah.
Since acquiring him.
I feel sorry for Russell Westbrook in a little ways. But he used to be such a great player, and now he's falling on bad times, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe the Clippers ought to put him at the sixth man. The Lakers had better success with him at that spot rather than having him as a starter.
I agree with you.
They got to do something, right? I mean, their record is not that great because Leonard was hurt early in the season, right? So where do they stand? What's their record?
Currently, the Clippers were actually in really, really good position. I don't have my index card here, but right now they are the 7th seed. The Warriors did pass them. I believe they were behind them at the time. But what's funny is that when they acquired Russell Westbrook, the Clippers had a 70% chance to make the playoffs. Since then, it's dropped all the way down to 43% chance. The Warriors, I think, were actually the reverse of that. They were in the 30s, I believe, to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then, a week later, they come out and they're at around the 70% mark.
Who did the Clippers give up to get Russell Westbrook?
Their point guard, Reggie Jackson, was a part of that trade. Yeah. But I'm not sure the exact details. But I was taking a look at this here. It's very interesting. They decided to sit Terrence Mann. I want to talk about him for a second. He is a very, very good bench player. And actually is a very, very important part of the team. He shot 50%. Didn't have, a great game last night. It was a -24. But the entire, this setup, the lineup for the Clippers is completely wrong. You're adding a guy who was primarily a sixth man this season, after being a bad starter the past 2 seasons for the Lakers, or I guess 1.25 seasons for the Lakers, almost 1.5 seasons. Then you decide, you know what, let's start him. Because we lost Reggie Jackson, who was a starting point guard for us. Let's put in Russell Westbrook. Now you're 0-4 with him. What's crazy is that in the first half, it didn't seem like a bad game for Russell Westbrook at all. He shot 3 of 7. 43%, had 8 points. He played 16 minutes. He did shoot 0 of 2 from 3. In the second half, he shot 0 of 8 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3, had no points, had 3 turnovers out of his 4 that he had in the game.
That's one reason they lost.
He's not a great player. He shot 3 of 12 for the game, 0 of 5 from 3. 8 points was a -10. He had 6 assists. That's the only other positive stat. Led the team in turnovers with 4.
Well,
he actually tied for the game high in turnovers.
I would say the Clippers may be regretting that trade.
I would agree with you. I do think they are regretting that trade because
they should put him on the bench, make him come off the bench, the sixth man.
But the question is, who would you replace him with?
He was going to be sixth man of the year.
I guess you get Bones Highland, but I don't think he's a starter. The Clippers are stuck. It was a bad idea. You got Eric Gordon in there, but you really have the problem is you really don't have anyone to replace Russell Westbrook unless you put in another forward, but then you would play with one guard, 3 forwards, and a center. The Clippers are screwed here.
Some teams play that way.
Not many.
Big guys.
Not many. Speaking about big guys, though, because I want to take it from the Warriors' perspective here. They've won, I believe they're on like a 2-3 game winning streak, maybe even more. And they've looked pretty good doing it. You have Dante DiVincenzo. He's looking great for them. He's playing starter minutes. He didn't have a particularly great game last night, but he did have 11 rebounds. He had 5 points. He actually led the entire game in plus minus. So he wasn't scoring, but he was still being efficient. The team was getting outscored with him on the floor. Draymond Green had double-digit points. Almost had a triple-double. 9 assists, 9 rebounds. You got Jordan Poole, who dropped 34 last night against the Clippers. Then you got players like Jonathan Kuminga shooting 7 of 12. The Warriors are looking really good. Now you add a injury but rested Steph Curry to that lineup against the Lakers. You make a push for that for potentially repeating another title. I'm going to actually say no. I still think the way I see with the Warriors, plus you also got Gary Payton, who will be ready in 6 weeks. The Warriors decided to go with that trade. He was still hurt. He was taking Toradol shots, and they were hiding his injury. The Portland Trailblazers, which is kind of a sketchy thing to do. He kind of screwed him over a little bit. But I was very, very curious because the Warriors were not great at defense. We saw that from the very, very beginning. I think they started off 0-7, 0-9 away, which was crazy to think about this team because they were literally ranked. They were number 1 in defensive rating last year. Right now, they're 15th.
Nobody's playing good defense this year.
You have a decent amount of teams.
Who's the number 1 defense? Who's the number 1 ranked defense?
It's the Memphis Grizzlies, second seed in the West. Yeah, they're number 1.
And what are the points they give up a game?
Let's see. The average points they give up a game is they're actually 6th in that category, 111.6.
That's defense.
And the NBA's changed. It
not, sure has. I think that's. They had this guy who criticized the All-Star game as the worst game he ever saw.
The Denver Nuggets head coach.
184 to 175, right?
Something like that.
And then you had a game, not just recently. Who were the 2 teams? It was 171 to something.
I think it was the Clippers Kings.
Clippers Kings, 170 points scored in the game. I mean, it went into overtime, but as you pointed out, double overtime, but not many points were scored in overtime. 150 points was scored in regulation.
Right.
So what's that guy think about that game? Does he think that's an abomination too?
I'm not sure.
These teams are scoring a lot more points, and the defense is not there. I think a team that really stepped up and tried to play great defense have a good shot. A really good shot to go deep into the playoffs. That's why I think the Celtics, they played great defense last year. This year, they're not so much, right? The points are much higher. They should crank it down there and really start playing some great defense. I think that would really help them a lot. In
defensive rating, they are 6th. And in points allowed per game, they're still a top 10 team. They're 9th. The number 1 team in points in opponents' points per game, I believe, is the Cleveland Cavaliers with 106.7. That's the number 1 team, and their defensive rating is 3rd in the NBA.
Yeah.
So the Warriors. Here's my problem with the Warriors. They have a lot of guards. They got Moses Moody, who they don't play. Ty Jerome. They got you got Jordan Poole, you got Dante DiVincenzo, you got Klay Thompson, you got Steph Curry. And then Patrick Baldwin Jr. is a forward/shooting guard. They're a very, very small team. Very small team. So if you have a Giannis, Brook Lopez, a Joel Embiid, a Robert Williams, and Al Horford, even a Jason Tatum.
Okay, but remember
Nick
last
Claxton,
year. Let's not forget last year's finals.
Jokic.
Let's not forget last year's finals. When we were watching it together, I was pointing out, and actually after the first game, right? The Celtics are bigger. They're stronger. They can take it to the Warriors down low, right? What'd the Warriors do? They played great defense, right? They kept them out on the perimeter. They were right out there with them. They didn't give them any breathing room at all.
Right.
And they won that series. So
Well,
they can do that again. They negated the Celtics' size and strength by the great defense that they played on the perimeter. And they didn't let them get down into the paint to get those easy baskets.
Well, here's my thing with that, right? You had it once again. Jason Tatum did not shoot the ball great. That's the problem with him. He has games where he shoots 20% from the floor.
Yeah. He did not play that well in the finals.
And another thing with the Warriors is
he had 100 turnovers in the playoffs. And that's something that can't happen again if they think
it was crazy that actually happened. But here's the thing with the Warriors: Steph Curry in that finals went off. He had that was it Game 4 or Game 3?
He was all world.
He was untouchable at the end of that series. Game 4, 5, and 4 and 6. Game 5. I think Klay stepped. Curry didn't have a great game, but game 4 and 6, Curry had phenomenal games. If Curry, Klay Thompson, or Jordan Poole, because there have been stretches throughout the season. Klay Thompson has shot very poorly, Steph has shot very poorly, and Jordan Poole is essentially non-existent. If that happens anytime in the playoffs, it'll be, maybe 2 or 3 games where that'll happen. They won't be able to rebound through their defense because they're a small team who don't play very well on the defensive side. So I think a team like a Memphis, who's the number 1 defensive rated team, a Jokic even. You got the Suns now with KD, who looks really good. But like I said, if they get to the finals and they're up against Milwaukee or Boston or Philadelphia, even the Knicks gave him trouble. The Knicks blew him out of the water earlier this year. If any of those teams who have big, strong guys who could body up this team, and either one of them has a poor shooting night, which they have been prone to do over the past couple seasons, the Warriors, I think, are in some deep water right here. And it's a question of how consistent can they be? It was a combination for the Celtics of Steph Curry going off, and the Celtics were the inexperienced team, so Steve Kerr was able to actually just scheme around them. It was abuse Jason Tatum when he's having a poor shooting night, have the ball be fed to him. And speaking about, having a shot be fed to him, Draymond Green, when Russell Westbrook caught the ball at the 3-point line, Draymond Green's defense was in the paint, and it worked. He shot 0 for 5 from 3. Like that. I think that's actually more of a mental, hey, screw you. You can't. We're gonna let you shoot. I'm gonna play defense in the paint. You could have the 3 all by to yourself. We're not even gonna try to pursue you. Take that shot. We know you'll miss. That does something to your psyche when teams are basically saying, shoot, we dare you. And that's what happened. Shot 3 of 12, 0 for 5 from 3. So
he's not a great 3-point shooter anymore.
He's horrible.
He used to be pretty good at it.
He wasn't great at it. He averaged, I think, low 30s throughout his entire career. I'll bring it up right now, but he was never, especially recently, he was never a great 3-point shooter. His career, he's 30.4%.
Huh.
So he's not even low 30s. He's 30. He's slightly above 30. This season, he's shooting 29.5%. 66.9 from the free throw line. They're called free throws. You're not supposed to be able to miss them, especially if you're a guard. Guards need to make free throws at least. Centers, I can give them a little bit of a break. A little bit, not much. Because now centers are getting way more athletic. They can shoot threes now.
Who shot 69%?
Russell Westbrook from the free throw line shooting 66.9. Not great.
No.
Not great. I think he may be close to dead last in that category when it comes to guards. But hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.